Right, guys and girls, welcome back to another video, live stream of my YouTube channel. Today we are doing Discovering Space. It is a space exploration type of scenario game with a narrative to it, talking and all that kind of stuff. So just gonna enter, we're gonna do pass by Phobos, Deimos, on your way to visit the surface of the Mars, fly around Gale Crater, high over the polar caps, and down through the vast canyon system of Valles Marineus. I think I might have done this one already, but we're going to do this one and then we're going to do the next one. See how well we get on with this. Right. Let's have a look, shall we? Right, there's Mars right over there, guys. I guess if I turn on the
Here we
internal
are,
light,
heading towards the great Rubicon planet, the fourth planet from our sun. The blood-red sphere named after the Roman god of war is striking to observe. We begin our Martian tour by first visiting its two moons, Phobos and its smaller counterpart Deimos, which were named after the sons of the Greek god of war, Panic and Fear.
Panic and Fury.
Both moons are thought to be asteroids, captured by the gravitational pull of Mars.
I like these space exploration games, guys and girls.
We have a glimpse of Deimos as it transits across the face of Mars.
Okay, so and that was
Deimos is the smaller of the two brother moons. It's bizarre.
so the two moons
shape can be likened to that of a misshaped bear. It is thought that this strange shape is due to the fact that being so small, it does not possess enough gravity to mold itself into a sphere.
looks like an asteroid rather than a planet. But that's apparently a planet then.
Other than this, it is fairly unremarkable, apart from its craters named after Swift and Voltaire, who predicted the presence of moons around Mars many years before any evidence of their existence.
That's pretty cool. It feels like it's really close and like you're actually there. And you can see the steam coming out the mouth as well.
This structure has incredibly low density, and it is thought that it may be completely hollow. It is the darkest non-reflective object in the solar system, and things look rather bleak for its future.
Wow, Mars looks actually huge up closer. But we're going to get closer in a minute because we can actually land on it.
It is predicted to hurtle into it in about 50 million years, give or take. And if that wasn't enough, the deep grooves along its surface suggested is already showing signs of breaking up.
Oh, breaking up already.
Closer inspection of Phobos shows that it is something missing. There is a large chunk that is no longer there on this tiny moon, which is only 11 miles across, and it is thought to have broken away on impact with some larger object.
That's pretty cool. Look at, wow, just getting close to it. Really close.
Take a good last look at it. It may not be around for much longer.
It's not going to be much around for much longer, Phobos.
Now let's turn our attention to the main act, Mars.
Yeah, I think this one's because this is a short narrative on this. The one's not too long.
A largely smooth surface,
so I might have combined it with another one, guys and girls.
The southern region does, however, contain craters and highlands, and we shall visit this area first.
Also, we're going to visit this one first. So we're just going around to different parts. And then we're going to get to the darker side of Mars.
Comes from an underlying layer of basaltic rock, covered in a thin layer of rust-like dust.
Whoa, look at that.
This dust can be thrown up into dramatic dust storms that can cover the planet for days on end, and are thought to be the largest in the solar system. Our first port of call will be an enormous crater, thought to be over 3.5 billion years old, Gale Crater. It was formed when a meteor hit Mars during the early formation of the solar system. This unique and mystifying edifice, on first examination, is a complete puzzle. How does a mountain come to be situated in a 96-mile-wide impact crater? The answer is in fact fairly simple. Sediments are believed to have formed within this vast crater.
Oh wow, wow. This is awesome, guys and girls. Just like flying around and all of that. Wow, look at that, we're getting closer now. Through to the canyons and all that kind of stuff. The dust particles. It's like sand dunes and stuff. We've got like sand dunes there.
The Mars rover Curiosity, which landed in 2012 and has since explored this crater in detail, has confirmed a long-held belief that water had indeed filled this huge crater. Surprisingly, not only were these beliefs upheld, but the findings seem to suggest that this lake had been in place for millions of years. The rover also discovered that the mountain has a clay mineral base, with the higher levels containing sulfur and oxygen.
Wow, look how big those like sort of hills are, guys and girls. Those mountains and hills.
There is therefore a substantial possibility that the combination of a prolonged period of water and the minerals found in the surrounding geology may be a sign that life once did exist on Mars.
It was a little bit glitchy today, guys and girls, as well.
Let's leave Gale behind for now.
Phobos, Earth, Venus, Neptune.
Although smooth from a distance, on closer inspection, the surface of Mars appears to have
we're leaving Mars now, going to
like islands,
a different part
of
Mars.
The water that should surround them.
Night sky there, with all the stars.
This water is thought to have been present at one time, heated by volcanoes and forced up through the surface. Now long gone, the atmosphere too thin to support water, the constructions that they once formed and forged their way through stand alone.
So it's going to go around to the other side now, guys and girls. It's going to turn around.
These are layers of water ice that have melted and reformed,
We're
and are
going to
now
go
covered
to
in a
the
veil of dry
ice
or
caps
frozen
or
carbon
caps.
dioxide, striking against the crimson background. The resplendent Olympus Mons, the highest mountain in the solar system, elevating up at a distance of 88,000 feet, it is so enormous that it reaches above and beyond the edges of the atmosphere.
Wow.
The craters and pits that are part of this extraordinary structure are formed by the lava that erupted up from its 53-mile-across caldera. Although it has been dormant for a long time, it is thought that it may once again surprise, and once more explode spectacularly. Not only is Mars geographically closest to Earth, it also shares similarities in length of day, just 40 minutes longer, and the division of seasons. However, the winter and summers of Mars have a much wider range of temperatures attributed to them than those of Earth.
It feels so massive. Oh my god, I've got a glitchy arm and all that. The hand, a little bit glitchy. It looks like I've got two hands in one. Shadows are really good though. I like the shadows.
Atmosphere of Mars
This is on ultra
thin,
settings.
about 100 times thinner than Earth's. This, and the fact that it is much further from the Sun, means it is much colder than Earth, with an average temperature a chilling -60 degrees centigrade. However, during the summer days, this can rise to 20 degrees.
Yeah, and if you do like the live streams, guys and girls, let us know in the comments below as well. And also like, favourite, share, comment and subscribe to the channel. It does help get the channel up a bit bigger. And I appreciate it as well, guys and girls.
We take a flight through Valles Marineris. Let's swing around to set up our approach.
And yeah, there's a big shout out to a guy called David as well, because I saw him in Sainsbury's, not Sainsbury's, in Tesco's in Weston-super-Mare 2 days ago back, and he said he's been watching my YouTube channel and all that, so a big shout out to him. Definitely a big shout out.
Marineris is another example of a striking structure that we can see on the iron-like surface of Mars. 3,000 kilometers long and 600 kilometers
Oh no way, we're going straight into the
canyons
now.
Canyon. It is thought to be formed as the planet cooled and cracked, and has an impressive 10
Whoa, you
kilometers
can
depth.
see him forming the shape. So as it's lowering down, you're actually going straight into it. Into like these mountainous
With most
sort
of the
of
canyon currently
canyons.
in darkness, we are only flying the western limb. In total, it spans an imposing fifth of the circumference of the surface of this planet.
Whoa.
It is so enormous, it can be seen from Earth through a large telescope, and appears as a dark scar.
Oh, so you can actually see this through a telescope. That's quite cool. I might have to start doing that when Mars comes round and stuff. I have to find Mars on the map once it's a clear night.
Its name is taken from NASA's Mariner 9 spacecraft, which was the first satellite to orbit another planet in 1972.
Whoa. Actually, and this doesn't even give me any motion sickness either, guys and girls. So it's pretty cool now, because I'm used to it now, because I've been doing VR for a while.
With dozens of successful missions, sending back remarkable scientific data.
Your brain kind of reacts to what's going on now.
The future exploration of Mars may see man's first landing on another planet, possibly sometime in the next decade.
So we could end up actually landing on Mars, they said, in the next decade or so. A couple of decades.
I hope you enjoyed this tour, and come back for more, another time.
Whoa, look at that down there. I mean, you can just look out the windows and you can see everything that's going on. I'm using the Oculus Quest, but I've got the tether cable connected to it and all that, so it's pretty cool. You can connect it to the PC now and play PC games, so you're not really sort of tied down with just the headset. So what we're going to do now, go back into the tour, and similar with doing Mars, we'll go to Saturn, and Titan dips into Titan's thick atmosphere on the way to a close-up encounter with Saturn and its icy rings. Have I done that one? Might have not done actually one, which is the one I did before. Oh, I've done Earth and the far side of the moon. Did the inner planets one, so I think it's and the Galilean moons, which is to do with Jupiter and the Galilean moons. Done Mars, so the next one is Saturn and Titan. So we'll go into that one. I'll have a quick look. Let's have a look.
Directly ahead, Saturn, one of the most well-known of all our planets.
Saturn's right there in front.
Ball surrounded by mysterious rings. It is the 6th planet from the Sun, and can clearly be seen from Earth. But, before we visit Saturn, we will make a stop at Titan.
What game is this? This is... should be the title in the actual video. It should be Discovering Space, but I'm on doing different ones. So this is to do with Saturn now, and the rings of Saturn.
Possesses a substantial atmosphere. In fact, this atmosphere is so thick, it enshrouds and conceals the entire planet, making remote visual observations of its surface impossible. Let us go down through this atmosphere and discover what is underneath this vast cloak. Hold on. This is a thick atmosphere of nitrogen and methane clouds, and we are in for a bit of a bump.
Anyway, welcome to the live stream and all of that. And what's that? Armarsh Moose Conceptor. There we go. So we're going through all these like little things now. We're going through the thick atmosphere. It's pretty cool. Wow.
Here we are.
It looks like sand dunes.
Look around at the strange and alien landscape.
Yeah, Pants on Fire,
As
definitely.
You can see, it has the appearance of islands.
That's the way it is. It's Pants on Fire.
Lakes contain not water, but
because I'm in a space shuttle. This is awesome. This is probably the closest I'm going to get to being on the Enterprise on Star Trek. I could get the Star Trek game as well at some point.
Suggests that the island-like structures
crew
may
one.
be made of a wet sand-like substance.
But there's nothing like an actual sort of narrative game where it can just drag you straight into discovering space.
The chemical makeup of this moon's atmosphere contains many of the same elements that make up our Earth's atmosphere, although the lack of sunlight due to its density makes it much colder.
Oh, much colder. So what's the atmosphere at the moment? Let's have a look. Does it even tell you how cold it is?
Despite this icy and uninviting environment, the similarity between the Earth's water cycle and a similar methane-based one may mean that the possibility of life existing here could one day become a probability. Man's exploration of this world is only just beginning, and conceptual missions such as a submarine to explore the vast lakes are being considered.
I've cut pretty much the music out just in case I get copyrighted for it, but we should be right for the video and narratives on here, guys and girls. And then once I get my monetization back, hopefully at some point I can monetize this video and all that.
It is time to leave this eerie but wondrous.
But even with monetization and all that, you're not really getting as much. Well, really, just pennies, really, actually.
As we head up once again through this
but every penny goes towards making another pound or another dollar, and another dollar goes towards making $10 to $1,000.
From this distance we can fully appreciate Saturn's magnificent rings. These beautifully striking disks can clearly be seen from our own planet.
So what's that, 0.12C? Jesus. Oh, so I think that's 12C?
As we
I think that's how cold it is.
Let us find out a little more.
Okay, so we're going towards Saturn now, and we're going to see the beautiful Saturn rings. This is going to be awesome. Wow.
We can quite clearly see 3 main bands illuminated by the sunlight, with the middle being slightly more transparent.
Wow,
we can also notice a very thin, outer ring.
I'll tell you what, this is an awesome experience, and I recommend you guys and girls to check it out. Because seriously, this is like an awesome game. Well, I wouldn't say it's a game, it's more you're just sitting there
Closer
and
inspection reveal that
you're
there are in fact
but not
7
interacting with them, but it's
These
more
hoops of light
like
are
a
thought
roller
to be
coaster
kept in place
experience.
by the many tidal moons of Saturn.
Wow. Whoa, look at that, it's beautiful, man. This is so beautiful.
Of ice that range from pebble size to building-like proportions. The rings spread up to 250,000 kilometers across, but are only 1 kilometer thick.
Whoa, 1 kilometer thick, eh?
As we move closer towards the planet's atmosphere,
I have to try and turn
color that make up its
to actually
surface.
look,
Although not as defined as bands on other gas giants such as Jupiter, there are clear distinctions of yellow,
Saturn, yeah, I
gold.
think it's a gas giant because of all the gases and toxins and all that.
These are caused by
we went on there, I
high-speed
suppose,
jet
in that
stream
planet,
wind in the
we'd
upper
probably end up
atmosphere,
dying.
combining with heat from the planet's interior. The large white clouds that you can see hovering above are formed of ammonia and leave spectacular trails across the sky. Saturn is indeed a planet that has formidable weather conditions. As well as its fierce winds, the planet also produces spectacularly dramatic lightning storms.
Oh, wow.
Although fairly infrequent, due to the extended time it takes for Saturn's heavy water droplets to rise, when they do occur, they can cover an
look at
area
those like little
roughly the
blue
size
things
of
on
our
there. I don't know what
planet
that is.
and
Probably
last for many
ice or
months,
something.
circumnavigating the gas giant in the process.
Sort of thunderstorm.
Particularly prominent during the summer months, these intense storms can produce 10 flashes per second, which makes for a superstorm that is remarkable for us to witness.
So we're just going
Let's
around.
head away from the surface, out to a greater distance, and swing around to get a better view of the polar regions.
So it's going to turn us around now.
You will see Saturn again overhead in a few moments.
Oh, Saturn's going to be over our head. We've got to look above, man. Got to look above.
We can now get a clearer view of the entire ring system and the clear banding. You may notice at this point
so it's about 0.31 C apparently.
This strange phenomena with its sharp regular angles is fascinating and intriguing, but there is in fact a simple explanation. It is caused by the slow circulation of Saturn's atmosphere, combined with a strong jet stream that whips across it. This mixing of wind creates large vortexes that distort the circular pattern into a stable hexagon.
Wow, it looks like an eyeball in the center.
Now, if you look closely at the rings, you can see dark spoke-like entities. These are thought to be formed of tiny dust particles pushed to the surface. These spokes appear and disappear throughout the year, but are at their most visible during the equinox season.
The equinox. Wow.
As to where the rings come from, a theory linked to this is that they were formed when a satellite was ripped apart, and the outer layers were then drawn towards Saturn.
Oh God, this is huge. That the like the distance of the rings towards
the
Saturn
rings are synonymous with the planet that they
are wide out.
There is some suggestion that the rings are fragile and temporary.
The rings are temporary, so they probably won't be here for long then. Or they'll be here for a little bit, but probably another 100 years, maybe.
If this is true, then this adds to the evidence that the rings will continue to get smaller, and one day disappear forever. We realize that although there is much more to know and explore of this planet, we are very lucky to have the information from explorations such as Pioneer, Voyager and Cassini probes that have provided us with thought-provoking insight into this most famous of planets in our solar system.
I think there's like Voyager 1 and Voyager 2.
We will soon be coming to the end of our tour. Take a moment to
I think the one's going back like since the 60s, I think, wasn't it? Or maybe before. Might be actually just around about the 70s.
We finish with a view you get to see. What a beauty she is.
Oh, she is a beauty. Look at that. My God, we're down quite far and you can see like the whole planet of Saturn. That's awesome. Alright. I think it's just time for one last one. We're going to find in Apollo now a close-up journey around the moon, mountains and craters and lunar landing sites. Right. Woo!
On this short journey, we will fly directly towards the moon to find the landing site of Apollo 11, the mission that successfully landed man on the moon in July 1969. The Earth is to our left and the moon is dead ahead.
So the moon is straight there.
Accelerating to around 4% of the speed of light, we will make the journey in a fraction of the time.
So we're just stopping off to different planets to discover, and we'll have a look. And then we're gonna find Apollo 11, space mission 1. Alright. This is actually amazing. Right, whew.
The dark markings on the moon are the lunar mare. They are flat regions, formed from cooled lakes of volcanic lava during the early formation of the moon.
Wow, man, this is awesome, man.
These flat regions make ideal targets for attempting a lunar landing. The large region in the center is called the Sea of Tranquility, with the Sea of Tranquility to the right and the Sea of Serenity at the top. As we approach closer, we can start to see the more mountainous and cratered terrain surrounding these darker regions.
Yeah, I mean, you guys and girls, if you have been following my channel, actually, I do a lot of astrophotography on moonology, so when the moon comes along, I'll take pictures and stuff like this. It's just amazing. I've got like a telescope and a DSLR camera as well, and I take photos up quite close. Here we go. Oh, look at that massive ring, sort of circle. Looks like a crop circle.
Is dead ahead. You can hear the chatter of the Apollo astronauts as they orbited the moon in preparation for their landing.
Look at that.
I don't even know what we're doing. We're gonna roll over and sit down, so we're looking at the front windows down.
We will swing around to the left and line ourselves up with the Apollo approach.
The Apollo approach.
And then we're gonna have high gain. How would you like it? We're looking at the moon again. Coming out the window.
So we're gonna stop off where Apollo 11 is supposed to be.
The mountains ahead would be a terrible place to attempt a landing.
Third time? First time or what? We want the big camera, huh? Big lens or small? Not really. About 80 millimeter, maybe. For the Earth coming up? Oh, for the Earth coming up.
We're navigating to the moon, apparently. So.
The Apollo astronauts had one attempt at their landing. We have the luxury where we can head up to a higher altitude to get a better view.
Doesn't matter, we get 2 hours on that thing. They don't care if you run out.
Whoa, man. It's awesome. This is actually kind of like the Apollo 11 game. or technically it's not a game, but sort
the
of
smoother terrain and the sea
experience,
of tranquility,
VR experience.
looks much more ideal.
Okay, let me get my gouge out here. I got my gouge. I want to back off a half stop to get the earth. You black and white or color? Alrighty. Oh, that's the 5.6. First is an 11. You're still at it.
We are heading for a region just before the hills ahead.
Which way you, over in there, friend? 5.6 at 5.6 at 1,250. Are you rolling? I'm rolling right.
Wow, can run to the other side of the moon.
Oh, there is some rough country over there. You might get it coming sideways. There, stand by in case it's done. What's the AOS time? 15 with a burn.
We are around 100 kilometers above the landing site, and we will gently swing around to the left and reduce altitude.
You ought to be able to get it put back together here. There, you'll be over here. ALS 70.
Altitude 85 kilometers.
I'll do that. What else is that?
50 kilometers.
Eyeballing and scattering.
50 kilometers.
You get the bird pattern report.
30.
17 seconds.
Ready to go. Okay, that looks good. Give me a burp. 64.
20. 10. 5 kilometers. 3. 2.
There we go. Getting
1,000
the landing
meters.
on the moon, so we can see
the
Apollo
landing
11.
site just over to the right. 500.
Oh, 500.
Well,
Come
one
on.
more fiddle and burn.
There we go. Almost there. 200.
200.
Woohoo!
We will slow our descent with our vertical thrusters.
Look at those craters in a row. Going right out there.
Oh, I think I can see that over there, guys and girls.
50.
Even though my hands like sort of.
Something really peppered that one.
20 meters.
Wow, this is awesome.
There's a lot less
Feels a bit glitchy.
color than I would have thought, you know, looking down. Yeah, but when you look here,
Oh, there's the moon landing.
All of the instruments and experiments have been left intact. Let's try not to damage them.
God, that's a big deal. You want to look at that guy? Yeah. Coming your way. Oh, let me. Well, there's no doubt that this is a little smaller than the Earth. When you look at that curvature.
So I can actually get
That was
up.
close. Let's head away before we do some damage.
It's going to be 9 minutes.
With the thrusters on our ship, we can move around much more easily than the early landings.
Alright, we need to catch it about 10. Or, you're going to have plenty of passes. Plenty of air rides, I guess.
Not the smoothest of approaches, but at least we are down.
There we go.
Let's try again and see if we can get closer.
There you go. That's kind of hard to believe that that's volcanic is formed by some faulting, isn't it? I don't believe that. But it's like a perfect straight line. None of those meteors come by right now.
Oh wow, so you can actually get quite.
That's better. Touchdown. The Earth is visible directly above us.
It's pretty cool. So I can put myself back in here.
Let's take off vertically as they would have done when returning to Earth for the first time. 20 meters.
You're rolling. We got about another.
Pretty awesome.
100. 200.
400.
300. 400. 500.
1,000.
1,000. Let's use our main thrusters to accelerate away and get back to Earth quicker.
So getting back to Earth. So yeah, this is like sort of part 3 that I'm doing. A bit longer today because I've sort of combined a couple in there, not just Mars but Jupiter and all these other crazy planets. There we go, and we're back to Earth in one piece.
Home.
Come on, Dylan. Gotta get to the chopper, do it.
What a long way to travel in such a short time.
That was pretty cool, guys and girls, that little short tour. What was the other ones? Probably have to do the rest tomorrow. Encounter with a comet. What's the next one? That one's the inner planets, Venus, Mercury, and the intense sun. And then, so there's only basically 2 to go, which is the encounter with a comet. Which I'll probably do tomorrow, and the inner planets of Venus, Mercury, and the intense sun. But anyway, guys and girls, if you enjoyed the live stream, this short one, let us know what you guys and girls think of this absolute awesome app. Because I think this is quite sweet, that it's quite educational, that you can actually learn stuff by just putting a headset on. And who needs schools when you've got like helmets that you can put on and be deep inside. What's that? NASA ties CGI pants on fire. Yeah, NASA, yeah. I mean, it's pretty cool though, the NASA experience sort of thing. But it'd be quite cool if the graphics were up to date, like 4K wise, or ultra settings, make it so it's magnificent. But anyway, guys and girls, cheers for watching, stay safe all, and I'll see you on the next live stream, because I'm going to finish this one off. For today, it is the 18th of January 2020, and yeah, it's been fun doing this episode into the series. Episode 3, episode 4 probably be tomorrow or something, but cheers for watching, stay safe all.